Hi, Sci-Fi fans. Welcome to Visionary Stories. Please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Thank you.
Alien Booty Salvage, Chapter 2. The ship glided through the black like a ghost with teeth. Silent, invisible, and dangerous. After a shuddering jump out of low orbit, they'd been coasting on auxiliary thrust, the main drive still sputtering every fifth pulse. Jeff Bridge was elbow-deep in an alien access panel when sparks showered his shirt. "God damn it," he muttered, yanking his hand out and shaking it off. "Who wires a quantum feed through a coolant manifold?" "I do," Azreal said coolly from the other side of the corridor. She was crouched over a holo console, long fingers dancing through translucent glyphs. "And if you were even slightly fluent in Intari engineering, you'd understand why." Jeff shot her a glare, but she didn't bother looking up. Lanara lounged against the bulkhead nearby, bare midriff visible through a uniform that had definitely seen better days. The rip down her thigh-length tunic didn't seem accidental. "You two should just admit you like working with your hands, or on each other." Her voice purred with playful mischief. Azrael's hair shimmered silver-guyed under the ambient glow. "Inappropriate," Jeff smirked. "Not inaccurate." "Ugh, primitive flirtation rituals," Azrael muttered, standing and stretching. Her form was all coiled muscle and discipline, in contrast to Lanara's more fluid grace. "I'm patching the cloaking node manually. I don't trust this hybrid mess." The ship's AI chimed in overhead. "Trust me, neither do I. Jeff's last calibration nearly collapsed my thermal shielding. I'd rather be vented into hard vacuum than have him touch my circuits again." Jeff pointed at the ceiling. "You know, for an AI, you're kind of an ass." "I learn from the best," the voice replied dryly. He sighed and reached again into the panel. This time the system hummed as intended. "There, that should stabilize the stealth matrix." Lanara leaned in close behind him. "You're good with your hands, Commander." She let the words hang in the air, her breath warm against his neck. Azreal made an irritated clicking sound. "We have protocols. Chain of command. Respect." "Relax," Jeff said, standing. "We're not in the military anymore." "Speak for yourself. This ship has survived 4 galactic sieges, and I will not have it reduced to a floating bachelor den." "Bachelor?" Lanara said, with a sly smile. "So we're just furniture?" The lights flickered. "Correction," said the AI. "You're all emotional time bombs with mood lighting. Please, by all means, continue flirting while critical systems reboot, one glitch at a time." Jeff wiped sweat from his brow. "We need a break. We're running on reserve oxygen, short on rations, and we've got coolant leaks in 3 decks. Azrael folded her arms. "Suggestions?" "There's a deep space depot 6 hours out. Abandoned mining zone, black market hub last I heard. We restock, we recharge. We see what this ship can really do." Azrael frowned. "Risky." Lanara grinned. "Fun," the AI spoke again, tone sarcastic, plotting course to fun. "Hope you enjoy death by pirates or scandalous bar tabs." Jeff cracked his neck and looked around the dimly lit corridor. "Let's earn our next breath. Set a course. I'll take helm control." Azrael and Lanara exchanged a glance. Wariness, amusement, and something else neither of them voiced. They were a crew now, dysfunctional, mismatched, and barely holding together. But the ship was flying, and that meant anything was possible. The ship's replicator sputtered, coughed, and produced what might generously be called clothing. "This was the last cycle," Jeff said, examining the folded fabric on the tray. "After this, we're officially out of synth feed until we hit the depot." Lanara plucked up her bundle and held it to her chest with a smirk. "Perfect. I designed mine for ventilation." She lifted a teasing brow and strolled away, hips swaying beneath tatters of her former uniform. "Can't let the commander overheat." Azrael retrieved her own allocation without a word. Practical, gray, and armored at the joints, clearly designed for utility. She frowned at the replicator, like it had personally insulted her heritage. Uninspired but acceptable, she muttered. Jeff held up his new gear, a simple black shirt and soft duddy pants. Well, I'm just glad I don't have to smell like a coolant leak in old socks anymore. The AI's voice crackled over the intercom. The hygiene module has been sterilized and refilled. I recommend you use it before your pheromone levels compromise ventilation sensors. Noted, Jeff said dryly. He made his way through the ship's inner corridor, passing exposed conduit and flickering lights. The hygiene module was sleek, evidently restored since its abandoned junkyard days. Warm steam drifted from the ceiling vents, lights soft and blue-tinted, giving everything a surreal underwater glow. He peeled off his clothes and stepped into the stall. Jets of warm water cascaded down from above, and for a moment he let himself just breathe. Finally, he murmured, clean. The hiss of the door opening went unnoticed over the water's rhythm, but the soft pad of bare feet behind him did not. A warm, naked body pressed into his back. Jeff froze. "Guess what I designed my outfit for?" Lanara whispered, lips brushing his ear. "Easy removal." He spun halfway, startled. "Lanara, what are you—" She wrapped her arms around his waist, chest flush against his back, wet skin on skin. "I saw you watching me. Every time I bent over a console, every time Azreal challenged you and you clenched your jaw." Her fingers traced slowly down his chest. "You want command? You'll have to take it." Jeff opened his mouth to respond, but she kissed him before he could speak. Deep, slow, hungry. His arms instinctively pulled her close, the heat between them eclipsing even the steaming water. Then she dropped to her knees, the water cascading over her silver-streaked hair. She looked up, hands resting on his thighs. "Wash my hair, Commander?" Her voice was both a dare and a promise. He laughed, nervous, aroused, unsure of the rules anymore. "You don't play fair." Lanara tilted her head. "I don't play at all." The hygiene module door hissed open. Azreal stood in the doorway. Her tactical uniform was unzipped halfway down her chest. Her eyes went wide, then narrowed to twin slits. Jeff instinctively grabbed a towel to shield himself, stepping back as Lanara turned slowly, completely unbothered. Azreal's voice cracked like ice. "What is the meaning of this?" Jeff sputtered. "I swear I just wanted hot water." Azreal's gaze dropped. "Then why were you holding that?" Jeff looked down. The towel had betrayed him. I don't know. Reflex," he stammered. Lanara stood up gracefully, hair dripping, hips swaying. "Care to join us, Azreal, or would you rather stand there and smolder?" Azrael's face flushed violet, the Antari version of a furious blush. She stormed out, boots clicking sharply on the deck. The AI's voice came on again, dry as ever. "New rule. 1 occupant per hygiene cycle, and please try not to emotionally destabilize the crew during maintenance." Jeff exhaled and leaned back against the wall, soaked and dazed. Lanara ran a hand down his chest one last time. "You'll figure out how to lead us," she said, stepping out of the shower. "Eventually." He stood there for a moment longer before groaning. "What the hell did I sign up for?" The depot came into view like a rusted-out mirage, floating at the edge of a dying star's reach. It wasn't on any official chart, just a tangle of reassembled mining rigs, old ship hulls, and docking towers welded together with desperation and grit. "We should probably not show up looking like a warship," Jeff muttered. Azreal nodded and activated the cloaking array, reconfiguring exterior signature now. The ship's hull shimmered, pixelated, and then reformed to resemble a battered salvage hauler. Patched plating, fake corrosion streaks, and heat scarring painted on like graffiti. To any scan, they were just another junker limping into dock for parts. "Welcome to disguise mode," the AI quipped, "where deadly becomes dusty." Jeff slowed the approach, guiding the disguised vessel toward Dock Ring 7. The cloaking array held steady as the gangway connected with a metallic thud. "Transmit our ID as what, exactly?" he asked. Azreal tapped in a response from the tactical chair. Freelance salvage crew. Neutral affiliation. Accurate, Lanara said, kicking her boots up on the console. Except the neutral part. The interior of the depot smelled like oil, cheap plasma fuel, and last chances. A flickering neon sign read, "Crack Station, Trade, Fuel, Flesh." A pack of spindly aliens passed them, covered in tech implants and suspicious body fluids. No one gave them a second glance. Except for Lanara, who earned more than a few. "Maybe I should have worn something less distracting?" she teased. Jeff didn't answer. He was too busy watching a six-armed vendor try to bite a credit stick. They split up with comms live. Azreal to the shipyard's black market modules for upgrades, Jeff to fuel and supplies, Lanara to look around. 6 hours later, Jeff returned to the ship's loading ramp, juggling fuel cells and a stack of ration packs. Azreal was already there, arms crossed, watching an autocrate slide newly installed stealth relays into the belly of the ship. "The shielding will be 20 times stronger. Also, I traded the faulty jump coil for a cryo-stitched energy modulator." Jeff blinked. "That's actually impressive." She looked away. "I can be useful, even when I'm not threatening your position." Lanara came striding in last, hands full of glossy bags from a vendor marked Stylecore Intergalactic. Her new outfit was minimal, a short asymmetrical dress in black mesh and leather with glowing trim and gravity-defying heels. "Thought I'd bring some class to this floating junk heap," she said, spinning for effect. "You like?" Jeff's mouth opened. Closed. "Tried again." "You'll cause a riot." "Already did. Got a discount," she grinned. "Also picked you up something." She tossed him a black, tailored jacket, reinforced with micro-weave armor. "Thought you could use a captain's look." He slid it on. Fit like it was made for him. The AI piped up from overhead. "Captain Fashion upgrade confirmed. Ego boost detected at 42%. Jeff ignored the voice and turned to Azreal. "How we looking?" "All systems repaired or stabilized," she said. "Next jump will be clean. No guarantees after that." "Good enough. Let's get out of here." They boarded, lifted off, and left the depot behind in a shimmering blur, the cloaking mechanism reactivating once clear. In the ship's common bay, they unpacked the crates. It felt more like a treasure hunt. Jeff pulled out rows of ration packs, fuel cells, and lubricant cartridges. Azreal focused on sorting tactical gear and sensor modules. Then Lanara cracked open her large private crate. Azreal leaned in, curious, until she saw what was inside. At the top were sleek bodysuits, black self-healing mesh and shiny latex-like material that shimmered under the overhead lights. Each set hugged curves like a second skin and featured gold armor at the joints with tight matching boots that looked custom sculpted. Underneath those, an entire wardrobe of outfits that could only be described as scandalous. Halter tops that left nothing to the imagination, skirts that barely qualified as legal on most planets, and lingerie with structural ambitions. And under that, bottles, dozens of them, whiskey, wine, beer. A rainbow of alien brews and imported earth spirits clinked softly as they settled in the crate. Azreal's face darkened. "You wasted credits on this?" Lanara looked pleased. "I call it morale support. We need to start being women again," said Lanara. Azreal snapped. "Engineers, warriors, not pleasure dolls." Lanara raised a bottle of vintage Orion whiskey. "A girl gets thirsty, you know." Jeff just whistled and lifted one of the sleek bodysuits. "This is going to be a very weird command," the AI chimed in. "Note to crew, wardrobe integration pending. Emotional regulation not guaranteed." Azreal stormed off, muttering something about misplaced priorities. Lanara just popped the cork on a bottle of violet wine and poured 2 glasses. "One for me," she said, "and one for whoever wants to stop acting like they don't need to unwind." Jeff hesitated, then took the second glass. The common bay of the warship had transformed into something almost inviting. Warm lighting, open bottles, improvised seating cushions made from surplus cargo padding. The ship's AI dimmed the overheads on request and added soft ambient tones, though it grumbled audibly about misuse of command channels for romantic lounge purposes. Jeff reclined with a half-empty bottle in hand, a lazy grin across his face. He was a few drinks past tactical readiness, but still aware enough to know when the air was shifting. Lanara, seductive as ever in her black gold mesh bodysuit, sat draped across a reclined crate like it was a throne. She sipped from a sleek glass and watched the others with mischievous calculation. Azreal, legs crossed tight and arms folded tighter, had initially resisted the festivities, but a few sips of Alien whiskey, bitter, bright blue, and infamous across 4 sectors, had softened her edges. "No more," Lanara coaxed, holding up the glimmering shot glass. "Come on, just one. You've already had half. What's the worst that could happen?" Azreal eyed her, suspicious. "This smells like solvent." Lanara's grin widened. "It is solvent, for inhibitions." Azreal downed it. Her eyes widened. What was that?" Carolyn Reserve Batch, aged in neutron-cracked oak barrels. Legal on only 2 planets, Lanara said, proud. Azreal blinked slowly, swaying slightly. "I can't feel my teeth." "Perfect," Lanara said, hopping to her feet. "Come with me." "Where?" "No questions. Trust your bad influence." She pulled Azreal by the hand toward the corridor. Jeff raised a brow as they disappeared into the hallway. "What's she up to now?" The AI replied, "I'm not sure, but I'm morally opposed to it already." An hour later, the common bay door slid open. Azreal stepped in first, or rather, was presented by Lanara, who looked like she'd just styled a supermodel for a nightclub on a luxury freighter. Azreal's new outfit shimmered electric blue under the ambient lights. A skin-tight, high-gloss bodysuit with translucent mesh in just the right places. Her cleavage was perfectly framed, her hips encased in sheer curves, and her long legs disappeared into matching thigh-high boots with towering silver heels. Her hands were gloved, her lips a dark, provocative red, and her eyes smoked with sultry shadows. A wide, reflective silver choker graced her throat, with matching cuffs at her wrists. Jeff dropped his drink. Azreal stood, frozen, mortified, furious, and clearly turned on. Lanara forced me." "She encouraged you," Lanara said, whispering in her ear. "And you said yes," repeatedly. Jeff stared, eyes wide. "Wow." Azreal tried to speak, then groaned low in her throat. Lanara gave her a gentle push. Right into Jeff. They collided with a soft thud. Azreal grabbed his jacket for balance, her lips parted in a surprised gasp. Jeff caught her waist, half in shock, half in instinct. She didn't pull away. Lanara smirked, reached behind them, and slapped the door panel. The room door slid closed, the lock engaged. Jeff blinked. "Lanara?" "I'll open the door after I hear moaning," she called sweetly. Then silence. Then heat. Jeff looked into Azreal's eyes. She trembled slightly, part adrenaline, part Corellian fire. "This isn't fair," she whispered. "Not even close," Jeff said, pulling her closer. "But I'm not stopping if you're not." Her answer was a kiss that melted years of restraint. 2 hours later, the AI spoke softly over the corridor speakers. "Auditory scan complete. Sufficient moaning detected. Click." The door unlocked. Lanara returned 2 minutes later. Barefoot, bottle in hand, humming an old Earth tune, she peeked through the now unlocked doorway. No one came out. She grinned and walked away, satisfied. The next morning, Jeff and Azreal emerged together. His shirt was inside out, her choker was still on. They didn't say a word. Lanara raised her glass in mock salute. "Well, that took long enough," the AI added. Crew emotional tension recalibrated. Jeff just rubbed the back of his neck. Azreal adjusted her collar and muttered something about thermal stress testing. No one believed her.